do this. I just want to hit somebody so hard right now. I can't do this. I can't do this. I swear to God, if she dies, I can't do this. I can't do this. She's only 2 months old.
On the 19th of July, 2023, the humid heat of a Florida summer hung heavy over the small town of McLenny in Baker County. It was a day that began like any other for the residents of this quiet community. Parents went to work, and children were dropped off at care. However, inside a residence on a suburban street, a tragedy was unfolding in silence. A tragedy that would shatter a family and leave seasoned law enforcement officers shaken to their core. This case highlights the terrifying speed at which a hot vehicle can become a death trap and the devastating consequences of negligence. What you are about to see is the raw, unfiltered body camera footage from the Baker County Sheriff's Office. It captures the frantic moments of an attempted rescue, the raw agony of a mother's grief, and the stoic, confusing demeanor of the woman responsible. At approximately 1 p.m., a frantic call was made to 911. The caller reported an infant was unresponsive. Deputies and fire rescue units were dispatched immediately with lights and sirens blaring. As the first deputy arrives on the scene, the gravity of the situation is instantaneous. Inside a garage, paramedics are already fighting a losing battle. They are performing CPR on 10-month-old Aria Page. The atmosphere is thick with panic and dread. Listen closely to the observations made by the first responders. You can hear them noting the extreme heat radiating from the child's body. One officer mentions she is burning up. This is the first critical piece of evidence. It suggests this was not a medical episode caused by illness, but a case of hyperthermia. The baby had been cooked from the inside out. As the medics continue their desperate compressions, the pieces of the puzzle begin to come together. The information relayed to law enforcement reveals a nightmare scenario. The baby had been in the care of a babysitter, 46-year-old Rhonda Jewell. According to initial statements, Jewell had picked up the infant from her mother's house early that morning, around 8 a.m. They arrived at Jewell's residence shortly after. Jewell went inside to tend to other children she was watching, but Aria never made it out of the SUV for 5 agonizing hours, while the babysitter went about her day inside the air-conditioned home. The 10-month-old sat strapped in a car seat in the relentless Florida sun. By the time the mistake was realized, the internal temperature of the vehicle had likely exceeded 130 degrees Fahrenheit. The most heart-wrenching moments of this video occur when the victim's mother, Brooke Page, arrives. She had come to pick up her daughter, expecting to be greeted by a smiling baby. Instead, she walked into a crime scene. Her reaction is visceral and completely devastating. The body camera audio captures her guttural screams of denial and pain. "I can't do this," she cries repeatedly. This is the sound of a mother's world ending in real time. Law enforcement officers often have to compartmentalize their emotions to do their job, but you can see the visible distress on the deputies' faces. They are helpless to fix the one thing that matters. They can only secure the scene and try to keep the family from collapsing entirely. While the mother is consumed by grief near the ambulance, the investigation shifts to the front porch of the residence. Here we see Rhonda Jewell. The contrast in behavior is jarring. Jewell, wearing a white long-sleeve shirt, stands quietly. She is on her phone. She appears detached, almost confused, as if she is a bystander rather than the person directly responsible for the tragedy unfolding yards away. A deputy approaches her. There is no immediate aggressive interrogation. The police are gathering facts. They need to establish the timeline definitively. Jewell admits she forgot. She simply forgot the baby was in the car. This phenomenon, often called forgotten baby syndrome, does not absolve one of legal responsibility. In the eyes of the law, this level of negligence is criminal. The deputies make the decision to transport Jewell. At this stage, she is not in handcuffs, but she is essentially in custody as they secure her for an interview. The officer places her in the back of the patrol unit. Listen to the conversation. It is mundane, procedural. "Do you have your ID? Do you need shoes?" This banality highlights the surreal nature of the situation. A life has just been lost. Yet the procedural wheels of justice turn slowly and methodically. They drive to the hospital, not for Jewell's health, but because that is where the victim has been taken, and that is where the final pronouncement of death will be made. The officers need to keep the suspect separated from the grieving family to prevent violence and to preserve the integrity of their investigation. At the hospital, the worst fears are confirmed. Aria Page is pronounced dead. The medical staff did everything they could, but the damage caused by hours of extreme heat was irreversible. With the official time of death called, the status of the investigation changes immediately from a rescue mission to a homicide investigation. The body camera shows the raw aftermath in the hospital hallways. Officers are seen consoling the family, a touch of humanity amidst the badge and uniform. Meanwhile, Rhonda Jewell is formally arrested. The charge is severe aggravated manslaughter of a child. This charge reflects the gross negligence that led to the death of a vulnerable human being who relied entirely on her for safety. The wheels of justice turned for nearly a year. In April of 2024, Rhonda Jewell faced the consequences of her actions. A jury found her guilty. The court did not view this as a simple accident, but as a failure of duty so profound, it demanded severe punishment. She was sentenced to substantial time in prison, with reports confirming a sentence of 17 years for the death of Aria Page. While no amount of prison time can bring back the 10-month-old child, the sentence sends a clear message. When you take responsibility for a life, negligence is not an excuse. It is a crime. This tragedy serves as a brutal reminder to everyone. Check the backseat. Look twice, because a simple lapse in memory can result in a lifetime of regret and a life cut tragically short. Thank you for watching this analysis of the Aria Page case. If you found this video informative, please like and subscribe for more in-depth looks into law enforcement and the pursuit of justice. Stay safe and stay vigilant.